Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our School Board Candidate Forum hosted by the Fort Mill School District Teacher Forum. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening and welcome again. I'm so glad to see so many people here in the audience, and I know a lot of families are watching online, so thank you so much for your participation. To our candidates, thank you for being here, and thank you for your efforts and service to our students in the district. We really appreciate each of you being here tonight. My name is Laura Merck, and I'm the 2021 District Teacher of the Year for Fort Mill Schools. And the only reason I can say that and truly feel good about it is because I know I can give credit where credit is due. I am a student, a former student of the Fort Mill Schools. I graduated from this very high school back in 2011 and then started my teaching career here at Springfield Middle School, teaching 6th grade, and I am still there teaching 6th grade math. It's a great time. So I would love I know you're not here to listen to me, but I would love to share just a quick snippet of something that I wrote for my honor roll teacher submission to the state. And I think it is applicable tonight. Confucius said, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. The desire for success is ancient, but a universal value. The entire community must collaborate to educate our children for the future. Simply put, it takes a village. I have learned to seek wisdom from people with different backgrounds and experiences as we each hold an important piece of a larger puzzle. Each puzzle piece has unique strengths that ultimately make us better together. We need all stakeholders to communicate and collaborate to provide an equitable, world-class education to all. Just as we teach our students in the classroom, working together requires respect and kindness. It requires listening skills, critical thinking, and teamwork. Educators must offer support and trust when collaborating with parents, community members, and elected officials for all the pieces to come together to make a complete picture. So those of you here with us in person, you received a puzzle piece when you walked in. Candidates, you also received a puzzle piece. This is for you just to reflect and consider. You are such an important piece to 18,194 puzzles. That's how many students we have in our district right now. That's how many students we are serving. And that is how many students we are here together to help them build the most beautiful picture in their puzzle. So thank you for your participation. Those of you at home, I'm sorry I don't have a puzzle piece for you, but the same message applies to you as well. So thank you again. And in that same regard, as we move forward, I would like to just remind everybody that this event is a nonpartisan event. Our school board candidates this is a nonpartisan election. So I'd like for our audience members, candidates, everybody, just to remember that we are going to show respect for our students. We are role models today, and I ask that the audience as well remain respectful. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our actual moderator for the evening. Lucas Mcfadden, he joined the Emmy Award-winning CN2 teams as an anchor producer in September of 2008. He is excited to be back at the station where he started his TV news career in 2001. Before joining CN2 for the second time in 2008, he worked at the legendary WISC TV 10, NBC, in Columbia, South Carolina. In 2017, Lucas was named co-host of WRHI's Palmetto Mornings on FM 100.1. He's originally from Fort Lawn, South Carolina, and he graduated from the College of Charleston with a Bachelor of Arts degree. He and his wife, Katie, and their daughters, Collins, love the Tri-County and look forward to giving back to the community they both love. If you will, please welcome Lucas Mcfadden.
Well, good evening to those in attendance here in person. Good evening to those streaming this via the World Wide Web. We got together, a lot of us, last week for another forum, and I will say it again, this is a good-looking picture. These are people that are passionate about education, and we certainly appreciate each and every one of you for putting it all out there. We know politics is a blood sport, and we certainly appreciate it. We also appreciate the platform to give each and every one of you time to speak. I think political signs are fantastic. Ads on social media, television, radio, that's great. But hearing from the candidates live and in person really goes the distance. So thank you again so much for being here. And again, thank you so much for showing up. I want to kind of explain how the evening's going to go. Just bear with us here. As Laura mentioned, the position of the school board is nonpartisan, and we ask that all candidates and audience members remain respectful throughout the evening. Now, we're human, right? We have emotions. We might like something we hear, we might not, but let's keep our temperament, if we can, at an even keel so we can give all the time to these candidates so we can learn so much about them. And remember, it's also their time, so they want to squeeze as much time in as they can. Also, remember to silence those cell phones if you're here with us in person. All right, so each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement in alphabetical order. Following the opening statements, we will move to the question and answer section of the forum. I will draw a name at random to begin each round, and then we'll go in alphabetical order following that candidate. During this section, each candidate will answer one question per round. There will be 3 rounds of questions. Each candidate will select a question number at random out of a jar, and I will read that question aloud. The questions were created by the Fort Mill School District's Teachers Forum and will include topics covering teacher success, financial success, and student success. Candidates will be allotted 1 minute to answer each question. We have a timekeeper right there in front of you. Candidates, you do not have to use your entire time allotted, but you must stop once time is called. And again, as typical, we'll let you finish your sentence, but please tighten it as fast as you can, and we will stop you if you start with another sentence. Since the questions will vary, each candidate will receive one opportunity to provide a 30-second response to add comments after another candidate answers a question. To use this opportunity, please simply raise the yellow card that says 30-second response after the candidate finishes to indicate you would like to respond. Each candidate is only allowed one response throughout the entire forum. After the conclusion of the question and answer portion of the evening, candidates will host a meet and greet at individual tables for further conversation with stakeholders. This will end at 8 p.m. It is, after all, a school night. All right, so we do want to introduce our candidates for school board. The candidates are arranged in stage, right here on stage, that is, in alphabetical order by last name. They are, from left to right, Wayne Bolden, Michelle Branning, Connie Cullen, Kevin Glover, Joe Helms, Brandi Jansen, Desiree Jones, Rachel Julian, Eric Mann, Celia Mccarter, and Lippy Pratt. We will begin with opening statements. Again, candidates, you'll have 2 minutes to introduce yourself and your qualifications that make you a good candidate for the Fort Mill School District Board of Trustees. Also, please include your involvement in Fort Mill schools prior to election season. And again, as typical, we will start once you start, okay? So timekeeper's ready. Everyone's ready, buckled up, we're ready to take off. Here we go. We are going to begin with Wayne Bolden.
Thank you, Lucas. Yes, I'm Wayne Bolden. I'm a 32-year resident of Fort Mill. Not born and raised here, but I did find my way here, and I've just elected to stay. It's a great place to be. I'm a parent and grandparent in the district, and I'm an active and engaged citizen. I have been serving on the school board. I'm in my 3rd term, finishing up my 3rd term now. I have been married for 36 years. I have 2 children, 2 grandchildren involved in the district, being served by the district. And I serve in my free time. I work for 3M as a product engineering manager. And I've enjoyed being on the school board, for seeing all the things that we've done. I got involved, like many others, because of the successes that schools had. I actually started being a chaperone and supporting athletic booster and band booster clubs. Then from there, it evolved into serving on the School Improvement Council at both the elementary, or all 3, elementary, middle, and the high school. I was on the School Improvement Council here at this school the first 2 years that it was open. In 2008, I was a co-chair for the bond referendum that built the stadium here. It also provided money for Banks Trail Middle School, TGK Elementary, and W Bridge Elementary School, along with some other smaller projects and land acquisitions that we had to do. From that kind of led me into running for the school board. Had never aspired to do that, but just sort of ended up there, and I did, and got elected, and the rest is history. And I hope that I can count on your support one more time here. We've got a lot of important work to do, and I appreciate your time.
You can go ahead.
All right. Good evening. My name's Michelle Branning, and I am a resident of Fort Mill, Antigua Cay. I have been here a little over 15 years. My boys are both successful products of the Fort Mill School District, and one is actually a teacher internationally. He's currently in Hong Kong. I have been on the school board for 8 years. This is my 8th year, second term. I am seeking a third term to finish the work that we've started and to continue to expound on our great district the best way that I know how, which is by my involvement, my activities, and the relationships that I've built throughout our community and throughout our legislature. I have friends in Columbia. I have friends in Washington, D.C. Sometimes they're friends, sometimes they're not friends, but when we need something done, I know that I can call on them. I know that I can reach out to them and explain to them perhaps what's going on and what they're maybe not recognizing as an issue or a problem, and make sure that they can hear, learn, and hopefully go back and do the work for the people and for the children in our district. I am a realtor in the Fort Mill area, so I know about our growth. I have been involved since I moved here from the very beginning as a room mom, a chaperone, a booster club organizer, president of a PTO, founding president of a PTO, and it just continues on from there. I ran the 2013 bond referendum to expand Fort Mill High School and to build a new Riverview, and have continued on from there. That was in 2013. I continue to serve as our Policy Committee Chairperson. I am the Vice Chair of our board currently, and I am the sitting Secretary-Treasurer of the South Carolina School Boards Association as the nominee for President-elect to the South Carolina School Boards Association. I appreciate your vote on November 8th.
Hi, my name is Connie Cullen, and I'm a wife of 16 years. I have a daughter who's 10 and a 13-year-old son. I'm on the School Improvement Council, and I have been room mom, reader, lunchroom person. I volunteered so much that I really can't go into detail. It's so much of it. I was raised in Columbia, South Carolina on Southern values of respect, integrity, and hard work. And safety in education is safe from outside physical and emotional harms. Our kids need to be protected for their mental and physical well-being that will last them a lifetime. We need transparency in our education content and material and our financial spending in this district. And our teachers, who are our frontline workers during COVID, they had to deal with all the red tape that was going on, as well as us frustrated parents. And on top of that, had to deal with their own stress that they were having to deal with. As a child, as a school kid myself, I was a resource kid, which back in my day was considered special ed. I was in that till I was in 8th grade. I also am a recipient of free lunch and the free breakfast program. It wasn't until the 10th grade when my 10th grade English teacher pulled me aside and asked to speak to me and asked me to read something out loud. I hate reading out loud. And when I did, of course, I messed up the wording, the spelling, and even the order. And she informed me that she believed I was dyslexic. I was in 10th grade, and I had never, ever had anyone tell me this. So I understand what it feels like for students to feel like they're being left behind. So please vote for me on November 8th for school board.
Hi, I'm Kevin Glover. I'm a father of 3, husband of 1. My oldest daughter is in middle school here in the district, and my son is in elementary school. And my youngest daughter is a future customer, currently in daycare. My family and I moved here from Concord 2 years ago to solve a problem. The problem was that our children were trying to do remote learning as a kindergartner and a third grader, and it wasn't working for them. And we needed to find a place where we could get them back into the classroom to learn in person. And Fort Mill was offering a choice. And honestly, we would have gone just about anywhere that we needed to go to solve that problem for our children. But Fort Mill meant we didn't have to leave the Charlotte area. We could just move from one side to the other. And we're so grateful that we had that choice. And it's been an upgrade in every way. Better community, better schools, actually some of the top-rated schools in the nation. So it's been a wonderful experience for us. And I wanted to return the favor and give back to the community and be part of the solution. I'm at a point in my life and my career where I reached a certain level of accomplishment, and I have some skills that I can bring and some flexibility in my schedule. I've had a great career in engineering and sales and marketing, first with a global corporation, now as a small business owner, sole practitioner. And in those roles, I've worked with people all over the country and all over the world, places like India, South Korea, Europe, Asia, and always working together with other people as parts of teams, solving problems for clients, building solutions. It's an ability to experience lots of different cultures and backgrounds, and not everybody always agrees, but you work it out and you find a solution that works for everybody.
That's
I also
time.
have degrees
That's
in
time.
business and
That's time.
finance. Sorry?
That's time.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you so much for making this a priority for your evening. Just to introduce myself really quick, my name is Joe, and yeah, I'm one of these people running for school board. I'm super excited about this, y'all. It was some time ago that I got a sense from the Lord to be a strong voice for our children and for our parents of this district. Right now, I feel like sometimes their voices just aren't heard, and with children, they really are. I mean, they are the backbone of everything we do here in this district. So 2 ways that I know that I can step into a level that ensures our district stays strong and goes into a greater level of strength is going to be able to emphasize my ability to unify. I love working with people and highlighting the things that they are good at, because I want to see others excel, because it's a body that has to move forward, right? And so I also work in the financial education industry. I work with money all the time in different situations. And right now is the time that Fort Mill needs to be just at another level of financial stewardship with our taxpayer dollars. So, just looking at a room like this, just to take a quick moment, or the people watching online, I get a sense that I could almost break us up into 3 sections. And there's going to be 3 sections of people. One of those sections is going to have people who really want to see these things over here happen in this district. And they're really passionate about those things. And there's another group, there's another section of people who are over kind of on this side of the equation, and they want to see these things happen in our district. But I think for the vast majority of us in this room and watching online, we kind of find ourselves somewhere in the middle of all of that. We're not so sure about all the way over there. We're not really sure about all the way over there. But you know what? You're right there in the middle. You want safe schools. You want the best teachers. You want the best all-around holistic experience for your child. That is the heartbeat of my campaign. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Hi, it's so nice to see everyone here tonight. My name is Brandi Jansen. I usually identify myself in 3 ways. I'm a mom of 4 here in the Fort Mill School District. I'm a nurse. I'm a cancer mom. Those things have, especially that last thing, has changed everything. When you're told that your child might not make it to kindergarten, your perspective and what you prioritize, it changes everything. And I feel like the current climate where we have to align one way or the other, or we have to label people or figure out how they feel about things, our children are bigger than that. The common ground that we all have here in this room is that we want the best for our children, or children that we care about, or the future of our children. None of the other stuff matters. It's just noise. So my perspective comes from a mom in the school district. I was also honored to be a school nurse here in the Fort Mill School District. And really just gratitude that we have children that are in school, gratitude for the school district that we are in. So my whole reason for running was to bring that perspective, to remind people of how, really just how lucky we are, and hope to continue to build upon the foundation, the common ground that we all have. And that's the way we're going to remain number one and move forward, okay? It's accepting kids, children, and families where they are and serving all of them. And I will keep repeating myself and just saying that all of us have our own perspective. That doesn't mean that we can't all continue to put our children first and mean it. I hope you'll remember me on November the 8th. I'm Brandi Jansen.
Hello, I'm Desiree Jones. First of all, I want to thank the Fort Mill School District's Teacher Forum for giving us, all of the candidates, this opportunity and space to make ourselves known to the community. I am a mom. I have a son who graduated from NAFO, and my youngest son is actually a student at Catawba Ridge, and I am grateful for the academic experiences that both of my sons have had here within the district, because they have been overwhelmingly positive. So just a little about me. I am a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, and for over 15 years, I have served children and families. I've served on various community collaboratives, helping the community come up with solutions for families who were really, really struggling to meet the needs of their children. I desire to use my unique perspective as a mental health professional to assist the current board so that we can continue to go down the road to academic excellence that has already been paved. And this will ensure that every child and every parent and every teacher in the district has their needs met. So I'm Desiree Jones. I bring a unique perspective, and I would like to have your support on November 8th.
Hello, once again, I'm Rachel Julian, and thank you all for the invite. It's so great to be here amongst everyone. It's just really good to see everybody out caring about the community and the school board. So let me just tell you a little bit of background about myself. I took advantage of the GI Bill by joining the Army, which paved my way for my education. I currently work in human resources as a lead investigator, and with an emphasis on employment law and in handling Title VII claims, which prohibits discrimination based on sex, race, or national origin. I was an involved parent in the Fort Mill School District, from attending school board meetings to making popcorn on Friday night football games. And let me tell you, running that concession stand is not for the faint of heart. I believe COVID has robbed us all in one way or another. I was especially concerned about the quarantining of so many healthy children. So many of the COVID policies put the children in low-income families, children with disabilities, and children on IEPs at a greater disadvantage than before. I think it's time we need to move forward and get back to the basics of reading, writing, and arithmetic without the bureaucracy. We need to allow every child the opportunity of a high-quality education that is tailored to their unique strengths and challenges. And we need to do this by supporting the teachers in real and meaningful ways. Together, we continue to move Fort Mill forward through strong and effective policy. Again, my name is Rachel, and I hope to see you at the polls on November 8th and go all the way down to that ballot, because you're going to find every one of us there. Thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Eric Mann, candidate for Fort Mill School Board. There are three key qualifications that make me perfect for this role. I chose my slogan, "Together we excel," because I know from playing basketball throughout college, throughout professional in Europe, that you have to have some key items. You have to have teamwork, you have to have leadership, you have to have dedication. I chose Together We Excel because I know we need the teachers, we need our parents, we need our students, we need the school administrators. We need to all come together to form a community. Secondly, I have over 18 years of insurance experience working with school districts and colleges here in South Carolina with their safety and insurance programs. So I ensure that my job was to focus on making sure that students and teachers arrive home safely every day. That was my focus. Thirdly, I'm a parent. I'm a parent to a child here in the school district, so I take that very seriously. I've always been involved in her schools from elementary up through high school, volunteering, helping move, things doing color guard, just always being there. So I see myself as a bridge to the community. I see myself being there for parents, teachers who may feel that they need a voice at the board level. I'm that voice. I'm that person that's going to listen to you when no one else is listening to you. So that's the key things that I bring. I bring that togetherness. Let's come together. Let's excel as a district because we need everyone to come together. We cannot accomplish anything alone. We need to bring, if a teacher is going to be impacted, we need teachers to be there on anything that's going to impact them before it actually comes to them. So I'm Eric Mann. On November 8th, please vote for me because together we will excel as a district. Thank you.
My name is Celia Mccarter, and I've been married to Coach Philip Mccarter for over 26 years. We chose to move to the Fort Mill School District because we knew of their rich history and excellence in education. So in 2003, we brought our children. We have 5 children. 3 have graduated K through 12 at the Fort Mill School District. I've got a daughter in high school and a son in middle school. Shortly after we moved to the Fort Mill School District, I dove into our community, both in Fort Mill as well as our Fort Mill schools. I became president of the PTO at an elementary, middle, and then of course I served at the high school level. I became president of our school improvement councils at the elementary, middle, and high school level, and some of which at schools that my children didn't even attend here in Fort Mill. I've worked with the booster clubs. I've fundraised money for the boosters for years, knowing that my husband's a coach and all of my kids are athletes. I've served on 4 successful bond committees to build these beautiful schools and facilities that we have here in the district. I've been on strategic planning committee. But me as a person, I have a degree in mathematics and actuarial sciences, and I have a minor in Spanish. 15 years ago, we saw the need to expand the education a little bit for our students and teach them interpersonal skills, soft skills, perseverance, and social skills. So my husband and I started a small business that we continue to run. I have over 200 hours of boardsmanship training as an incumbent here, running for my 2nd term. I embrace every chance I can to be an advocate for the Fort Mill School District, for the K-12 education in both funding and education. And again, on November 8th, I ask that you vote for me, Celia Mccarter. Thank you.
Dr. Nichelle Newton is running for school board, but she cannot be here tonight. She currently has COVID, but please see this video she pre-recorded to share with us tonight.
Hello, I am Dr. Nichelle Newton, and it breaks my heart that I'm unable to be there in the physical sense with you today. But I assure you that my love for education and advocating for students and teachers still and will remain intact. You see, my advocating for students and staff didn't just come about. It has been what I've done for the last 25 years of my life, from volunteering with youth sports to performing community service, marching for pay, equity in Columbia and in Raleigh, and sitting on boards advocating for special needs students of the state. When I decided to run again for this office, I had to take a hard look at our current board and their skill set. It was clear to me that my skill set was underrepresented. As a special needs parent, an educator at just about every level, and a licensed professional counselor, I not only checked the boxes, I filled the boxes. I understand the importance of collaboration and the voice of parents. I believe that parents are the experts on their own child, and they bring a perspective like no other, which is why I say it is a collaborative approach, not a one-sided. Being divided is not the answer. Let's stop fighting and work together. I love this district, and I know we can be one of the best in the nation when we begin to address the needs of all students in our district. It is an asset to have a fresh set of eyes to enhance the work the district is already doing. Someone who fills the boxes, not just check them. Tonight I will be answering presenting questions on my campaign Facebook page, Newton for Fort Mill Schools on Facebook. I will also offer a rebuttal live after the presentation. We can do this, but we got to do this together.
And then you can go ahead, Lippy.
Okay, thanks. Ms. Merck said I can't touch this microphone, but it intimidates the fool out of me, so y'all forgive me. Good evening, and thank you to all of you that are here in person and online. I am Pratt, and I poured my heart into being a teacher here in Fort Mill for almost 30 years. I'm married to Mike, who was an elementary and middle school administrator here in Fort Mill. We have two boys who attended Fort Mill schools, and I'm thrilled to say that they both serve our country in our United States Armed Forces as military officers. You could easily say that my family believes in public education and in public service. I bring experience as a teacher, resident, and a parent, and I feel that those varied experiences will help me to work with the other board members to make sure that all of our stakeholders can continue to be proud of Fort Mill schools. I retired from teaching this past year with the intention of having more freedom to travel with my husband to visit our children at their different bases. However, I felt a call to use my voice to remind our community about all of the positive things happening in Fort Mill schools. I truly believe that our schools are great and that we have a fantastic future ahead. I believe that I would be a good person to serve on our board because I've been there as a teacher when you are pulling into the parking lot before the sun comes up, as a community member when you get your tax bill, and as a parent when you get to beam with pride as your child graduates. I know that all three roles are hard, and I know that all three roles have benefits and rewards that pay off well into the future. I thank you for your time tonight, and I hope I can earn your vote.
Thank you very much, candidates. All right, we will now move on to the question and answer portion of our forum. I will draw a name at random to begin each round, and then we'll go in alphabetical order following that candidate. Each candidate will select a question number from the glass jar when it's your turn. I will then read that question aloud. Candidates, you'll have 1 minute, that is, to answer the question. Remember, a minute can go by pretty quickly. Some questions will be repeated. Remember, if you'd like to use your 30-second response card, please hold up your yellow card when a candidate finishes and wait to be acknowledged for your response. Again, we'll be by drawing a candidate's name to go first, and we'll continue in alphabetical order from there. The first round of questions will be centered around teacher success. Here it is. We'll begin with Brandi Jansen. And then, Brandi, you will draw your question. Yes. Oh, I think.
That's the candidate name.
That's the candidate name.
Okay.
Oh, what? I get to choose someone else to go. Nope. No. I mean, I have more to say. I could just. Ready?
All right, we are ready, so you can.
Question number 1.
Number 1, all right. Remember, the time will begin once you start talking. You'll get 1 minute. Do you believe that teachers should have a greater input or voice in district decisions that impact their work and their students? If so, what would you support?
Can you read it one more time?
Sure, absolutely. Do you believe that teachers should have a greater input or voice in district decisions that impact their work and their students? If so, what would you support?
I think that no one stakeholder in this equation should be held over another. However, our teacher's job is interacting with our children every single day, oftentimes more than we even see our own children. So I relate to teachers in the way I did as a nurse in a hospital. When you have happy nurses, you have happy patients. So if you're looking for high patient satisfaction scores, or in this case, excelling students, we do have to take care of our teachers. They absolutely should have input in their profession. That's why we hired them. They're multi-degreed. We have to trust them to teach our children. Now they're part of a team, but we really should be taking care of them. And what would I support? Anything that keeps them feeling valued, that they are, feeling them professionally fulfilled and fulfilled in their work-life balance as well.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, let's, we're just going to move the fishbowl down, okay? Desiree, if you want to move the blue fishbowl down in front of you, there you go.
Okay.
And pull out a number for me.
Well, I kind of liked her question.
I thought we were answering.
Number 1.
Number 1, okay, we might have to mix those in next time. All right, question 1. Do you believe that teachers should have a greater input or voice in district decisions that impact their work and their students? If so, what would you support?
I absolutely believe that teachers should have a greater impact, and I would support teacher input involving curriculum. If the teachers are the ones that are going to have to teach the courses, and if they're educated, and these are the individuals that we are trusting, then I think it only makes sense that to a degree that they should be able to have input as to what the curriculum looks like.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Rachel. Number 2. What are the characteristics of schools and districts most likely to be successful in recruiting and retaining teachers? And what experiences do you have to support our district's efforts of recruiting and retaining teachers?
Thank you. I believe that, teachers should be retained most importantly, and the school characteristics, we need to absolutely do a great job at recruiting and finding out the techniques and where we can go to recruit the best and keep them. Can you read that again? Sorry, I want to make sure I answered it all.
Sure, this is continuing part of your time. What are the characteristics of schools and districts most likely to be successful in recruiting and retaining teachers, and what experiences do you have to support our district's efforts of recruiting and retaining teachers?
Okay, I feel like I answered it. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay.
Got 2 also.
Number 2, all right. What are the characteristics of schools and districts most likely to be successful in recruiting and retaining teachers? And what experiences do you have to support our district's efforts of recruiting and retaining teachers?
So as a board member, definitely putting policies in place and having an open and transparent, just a board members, that you're able to understand what our teachers need. You're able to understand where you bring them to the table. I think I said it in my initial statement. We bring the teacher to the table so we understand what impacts them right away, so we're able to adjust that and make development opportunities along the way. We take that and we continue to build on it, and we look at opportunities to retain our best teachers. We look at resource opportunities for teachers also, because that's one of the higher paying jobs for teachers. So you look at opportunities to promote teachers. You look at opportunities to retain them any way possible. My background is insurance. You work through projects, you look at initiatives, you look at performance management, you look at ways to retain your good talent, and that's the things that I would bring to the table.
Thank you very much. All right.
Question number 3.
Number 3. In the Fort Mill School District Board policy, it is stated that the board believes that student achievement is affected by class size. Would you support smaller class sizes? If so, how?
Oh, absolutely. And I already have. Everything we do in the Fort Mill School District is based off the funding. And we have been very key in keeping our student-teacher ratio low. Every decision we make starts with that, because that is our secret sauce. Why are Fort Mill School District children doing so well? Because we know that it's with the small and lower student-teacher ratio. So when you have a $197 million budget and 89% of that goes to personnel, I think it's clear that we've already made that decision. We are clear that we need to make sure that we keep our student-teacher ratios low, and then obviously offer support staff that will help take some of the workload off the teachers, like our math and reading specialists. Thank you.
Number 3, all right. In the Fort Mill School District Board policy, it is stated that the board believes that student achievement is affected by class size. Would you support smaller class sizes? If so, how?
I know you are going to be shocked to hear that I believe the fewer students in the classroom, the more attention you can pay to them. But it's a simple equation. I do believe that we have to be realistic. I know that the years that I had teeny tiny classes and we were like a little family and it felt like we could take a field trip in a van, those were great years. But I understand the reality of those years that I had really big classes, and I know that all of my colleagues and myself were doing everything we could to give those students as genuine an experience as we could. So yes, I support it, but no, I don't think I can pull money out of thin air.
Thank you very much. All right, the fishbowl will make its way back to the start here.
I don't think we use those. Yeah, I think it's a different color.
All right, Wayne.
Dig down.
All right.
Number 1.
Number 1. Do you believe that teachers should have a greater input or voice in district decisions that impact their work and their students? If so, what would you support?
Okay, absolutely. They are the trained professionals. They're who we rely upon. It also plays into the teacher recruitment and retention piece of the pie that is one of the other questions. If they feel valued and they're giving their input, the retention piece is partially addressed and it's much better. Now, we currently have a process. We have what we call the teacher, now having a mental blank, liaison, thank you. Teacher liaison. And that is one method. Now, that method, I believe, maybe could be modified. I'm not sure that they always feel like their voice is actually heard. They do get to go in and talk, but we need to give direct feedback to them to let them know that their voice has been heard and this is how and this is the actions we're taking or not taking and why.
Thank you very much. Michelle? Number 2. What are the characteristics of schools and districts most likely to be successful in recruiting and retaining teachers? And what experiences do you have to support our district's efforts of recruiting and retaining teachers?
So I'll start with the fact that I have been on the board for 8 years, and that is something that we have been taking very serious. We've made great strides where benefits for teachers are concerned with changing sick days and personal days, where we are banking your sick time and giving other options where that's concerned. We have teacher support, teacher coaching, new teacher coaching. We do a lot of great things to help backfill and make one-on-one connections with our staff to make sure that they're happy, they're successful, and if they're having struggles or questions, they also work in a team with another teacher and or even a grade level team to help them maybe just get a little piece that's more than maybe where they were focused with it. And that's not just a new teacher, that's all teachers. All of our teachers work in teams, and I think our satisfaction rates and retention speak for itself.
Thank you very much. Connie?
Number 2.
Number 2. All right. What are the characteristics of schools and districts most likely to be successful in recruiting and retaining teachers? And what experiences do you have to support our district's efforts of recruiting and retaining teachers?
Well, considering that half of our teachers are burnt out, we desperately need to look outside the box. And most of our schools are actually ran individuals as far as their principals. And I believe that if our teachers are allowed more time to have actually true work schedules, that would be great. I think that we have mechanisms that we could bring in retirees, teachers, actually more parents back into the schools. But if we have our teachers actually work as a committee in each individual schools and allow them to come up with what would work best for them. And that's something that I've always done in all my other jobs. I've always been the one that's the coordinator. But we really need to coordinate because they are burnt out. And we just need to work together and allow them to think outside of the box. It's not always about money. Sometimes it's about the need and understanding.
Thank you very much. Kevin.
Oh.
Number 4.
Number 4. According to the Center for Education Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement, SARA, 6,927 teachers in South Carolina departed the profession just last year. Aside from salary, what are your ideas for recruiting and retaining teachers?
Well, you know, the teachers are the key to the education, preparing our students. And we've had the success that we've had so far because of the high quality talent in teaching that we've been able to attract and retain in this district. So we need to have policies that continue to attract and retain the highest quality teachers. And the big thing for me is to make sure that the teachers are able to focus on education in the classroom. So take away administrative burdens and other barriers to teaching and let our teachers focus on why they got into teaching in the first place, which was to reach students and educate them and help them. And let's remove all of the distractions and have policies that allow them to do their jobs free from any burden that isn't directly focused on improving outcomes for the children.
All right, and Joe.
All right. Takes a long time to get back around. Here we go. Number 4.
Number 4. According to the Center for Education, Recruitment, Retention, and Advancement, SARA, 6,927 teachers in South Carolina departed the profession just last year. Aside from salary, what are your ideas for recruiting and retaining teachers?
The word that instantly just kind of drops in my heart is value. You have got to put value. Our children are our biggest investment. There is no greater investment that we have. Where are you going to store that investment? You're going to make sure that you are absolutely championing the thing that you have taken care of, your biggest investment during the day. You have to put value. I want to be at a personal level to really understand the needs and where I can step in and really know where they're at. Because my wife was a teacher for a long time. I know that teacher stress comes home. I know you're doing more than just during the school day. It's your whole evening. It's emails. It's the whole thing. We have got to put in place something that really lets you know, I mean, that we are behind you 100%. You really are the secret behind our district.
Thank you very much. All right, so that concludes the first round. The second round of questions will be focused on financial success. We will begin again by drawing a candidate's name to go first, and we'll continue in alphabetical order from there. So here we go. Begin round 2 with Eric Mann.
Number 4.
Question number 4. Fort Mill is the fastest growing district in South Carolina, which requires adding anywhere from 25 to 50 new teachers each year to maintain appropriate class sizes. How do you balance the need to keep up with the growth while still considering the local taxpayer burden?
Thank you for the question. So my background is insurance, and I've worked with school districts throughout South Carolina and several colleges. My focus is ensuring that we don't take a financial hit by doing risk assessments. We do a risk assessments to understand the gaps, where there may be a gap in a liability. We ensure that we fill those gaps. We ensure that teachers have the opportunity to be successful in the classroom. So you look at liabilities, you look at opportunities, and you ensure that those opportunities are filled and we're not losing money from a financial standpoint here in the district. That's my background. That's what I bring to the table from a financial standpoint, ensuring that we do not lose money.
Thank you. Celia?
Number 3.
Question number 3. Every year, there are needs beyond what the district's budget can absorb. How and what would you prioritize a list of funding requests from schools and administrators?
Well, unfortunately, the way the state has chosen to fund schools, it's been a little bit difficult for us, and I've had that experience doing this for over 4 years. First of all, I would never, unequivocally ever, cut classroom teachers, or because we want to make sure of that low student-teacher ratio. That is so very important. Now we've got to look behind the class. And again, remember, we have a $197 million budget with 89% of that going to personnel. So there's not a lot of fat there, and this has been a difficult job for all of us over the last few years. So then we have to look at things outside of the classroom. That is great that we have, but that we have to do things a little differently. So a few years ago, 10 years ago to be exact, the school district had to cut extracurricular funding. And a fantastic group of parents stepped up and they fundraised money to cover that. And I was part of those parents, over $300,000, until the school district was able to add that back to the funding. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lippy? Question number 2. The minimum teacher salary schedule is set by the state of South Carolina. Fort Mill currently pays higher than the state minimum by $3,700 for a beginning teacher. What would you be willing to advocate at the state level for higher teacher salaries? If so, how would you do this? I'll read that question one more time. The minimum teacher salary schedule is set by the state of South Carolina. Fort Mill currently pays higher than the state minimum by $3,700 for a beginning teacher. Would you be willing to advocate at the state level for higher teacher salaries? If so, how would you do this?
Yes, I would be willing to advocate for higher teacher salaries. In fact, I have done so. Before 2013, I kind of stayed in my room and did my job and ground it out as a teacher. In 2013, I was selected as the District Teacher of the Year, and my eyes were opened to teacher advocacy. After that, I became active in my school's School Improvement Council and worked with my School Improvement Council to invite our entire legislative delegation to spend the night with us, or not the whole night, but to spend an evening with us and learn about our concerns from our level. They were able to hear from our parents and from our teachers what they loved about what we were doing and what they wish we could do more of if only there was a little more money. I think advocating and hearing the personal stories is what it takes to show people what we need and why we need it.
Thank you very much. The fishbowl will make its way to the front of the class.
Front of the alphabet.
All right.
Number 4.
Question number 4. Fort Mill is the fastest growing district in South Carolina, which requires adding anywhere from 25 to 50 new teachers each year to maintain appropriate class sizes. How do you balance the need to keep up with this growth while still considering the local taxpayer burden?
Yes, we do this every year, all the time, and it is a struggle. Ever since they enacted Act 388 and the funding model that we have now in the state, and it does not ever accommodate growth, which our district is hit with every year. We try to focus on the classrooms and keeping teachers in place, and almost to a fault in that we don't have enough support services for them, and we're working on that now as well. Sorry, part of my time, what's the question?
Question number 4. Fort Mill is the fastest growing district in South Carolina, which requires adding anywhere from 25 to 50 new teachers each year to maintain appropriate class sizes. How do you balance the need to keep up with growth while still considering the local taxpayer burden?
Yes, and unfortunately with Act 388, they have thrust the burden back onto the local taxpayer, which in fact is our small businesses. And this is very hard on them. They're carrying a big burden for us.
Thank you very much. Michelle?
Number 2.
Question number 2. The minimum teacher salary schedule is set by the state of South Carolina. Fort Mill currently pays higher than the state minimum by $3,700 for a beginning teacher. Would you be willing to advocate at the state level for higher teacher salaries? If so, how would you do this?
I've been advocating in Columbia for 8 years. They know me when I walk on campus. They know me when I walk in the Capitol. Doesn't matter if they're from York County or if they're from Horry County. My favorite. I have been doing this for 8 years. I do it not only in Columbia, I do it in Washington, D.C. It is a vital role to me and a huge part of who I am and what I am. I am able to text our legislators when they are on the floor arguing, particularly when it's about school issues. I have a great rapport with them, and I look forward to continuing to do that, not only locally in Columbia, but also on the state level, on the national level, and also as the South Carolina School Boards Association president in 2024.
Thank you very much. Connie?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. The fishbowl. Question 1.
Question number 1. The state recently changed the funding model for K-12 education. Considering the new model, where would you cut the school budget, and what would you consider to be off limits to budget cuts?
Well, it is no secret that our district has high marks, and I'm all for high pay, but being transparent. If we can't cut some of the red tape and get aides in our classrooms and help eliminate some of the stress from our teachers, I think we're going to probably lose the teachers. So if we have the new program, we really have to work with our teachers, coordinate, and probably decide what other programs as far as other subjects that maybe we can put on pause. Because our new curriculum sometimes means new staff, and unfortunately that pay usually comes before our teachers' pay, which I'm not for. I believe our great talented teachers deserve to have aides in their classroom, and we need to really make sure that the new curriculum really works more for our teachers. They should be the one making the decisions.
Thank you very much. Kevin?
Number 2.
Question number 2. The minimum teacher salary schedule is set by the state of South Carolina. Fort Mill currently pays higher than the state minimum by $3,700 for a beginning teacher. Would you be willing to advocate at the state level for higher teacher salaries? If so, how would you do this?
I absolutely would advocate, and I think that would be one of our highest funding priorities, if not the highest. As I said before, having high-quality teachers in the classroom and attracting and retaining those teachers is the #1 priority as far as I'm concerned. And not only that, but we're at such a high level of performance now in this district, we're not going to get to the next level of performance by doing the same things. We're going to need to shake the box a little and try some different innovative approaches. And the world's rapidly changing, technology's changing. You can carry all of the facts that humans have accumulated over thousands of years around in a little computer in your pocket. So I think probably we need to rethink the entire educational approach and what we're teaching and how we're doing it. But the thing that's going to be constant in that process are high quality teachers, and we have to pay them what they're worth.
Thank you very much. Joe?
Number 4.
Question number 4. Fort Mill is the fastest growing district in South Carolina, which requires adding anywhere from 25 to 50 new teachers each year to maintain appropriate class sizes. How do you balance the need to keep up with this growth while still considering the local taxpayer burden?
You absolutely have to fix Act 388. There is no doubt. You guys, this is absolutely putting way too much of a tax burden solely on the back of our small business. Because it's really hard to stay up here and really, because we all want to advocate for teacher pay. Every single person in this room wants teachers to make more money. But we can't say out of that one side of our mouth, because the end result is, hey, but we want all our small businesses who just went through COVID and now they're in a recession, they are going to be the ones to foot that bill. We have got to fix Section 388, because your property taxes on your homes are not going to fund the schools. Yes, our cars are, yes. But we have got to restructure this, because that is where we are going to find the financial success to really, really drive this thing home. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brandi?
Number 1.
Question number 1. The state recently changed the funding model for K-12 education. Considering the new model, where would you cut the school budget, and what would you consider to be off limits to budget cuts?
I can start by saying off limits would be our special services, because I think that's generally the first place either money is taken from or not given to. I think those are some of our students and teachers that unfortunately fall through the cracks. So I can say that without thinking about it. But I was a PTO president for 3 years here in the district, and our schools are already very lean. I can't say where I would cut money from that point of view. But what I do know is that we have extremely robust PTOs that support our schools and support our students, because here in Fort Mill, we take care of our kids and we take care of our schools. Not to say that others don't, but just saying that we have such robust PTOs that I don't know that our teacher or admin ever went without, like when we needed, in terms of what they needed in the classroom. We bought books and we sent them to teacher colleges, and we filled in the gaps where funding failed. Thank you.
Very much. Desiree?
Sorry.
Number 3.
Question number 3. Every year there are needs beyond what the district's budget can absorb. How and what would you prioritize a list of funding requests from schools and administrators?
Can you read the question one more time?
Sure. Every year there are needs beyond what the district's budget can absorb. How and what would you prioritize a list of funding requests from schools and administrators?
So I think that I would prioritize what the needs of teachers are by way of books, by way of anything that's needed to support the curriculum. So anytime you have a situation where needs are not met, the first thing you need to figure out is what is the most important. And I think we know that, the needs of the teachers and making sure that they have what they need to be able to adequately educate our children is paramount. So then I would say talk to our teachers, ask them what's important, because if there's something that can be trimmed, the teachers would know because they're on the front line. They know better than anyone else where the surplus is.
Thank you very much. And Rachel.
3.
Question number 3. Every year there are needs beyond what the district's budget can absorb. How and what would you prioritize? A list of funding requests from schools and administrators.
I think this is a tough question just because I feel like right now we're in 2 quarterly declines considering it a recession. So I don't think this is a good answer to a good question for anybody at this time. But I think maybe we need to reallocate funds and look at programs that actually help the teachers and students succeed, and just maybe focus on the forecasting and budgeting without putting undue hardship on the taxpayers. Like I said, we'd have to really do an assessment to figure out what is needed, where, and what we can juggle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes the second round of questions. The last round of questions will include student success. Again, we'll begin by drawing a candidate's name to go first, and then we'll continue in alphabetical order from there. We will begin the third round with Wayne Bolden.
Get it done.
Come on, dig down. Number 1.
Question number 1. The Fort Mill School the Fort Mill School Board's philosophy of education states that we will never be satisfied with the status quo. Although our students consistently perform at the top of our state, what can be done to improve student achievement and ensure everyone who graduates is career or college ready?
It is indeed true that once you're at the top, the margin is very small and there's not much room to move, and it is hard to move that needle. That doesn't mean the needle cannot move and that you should not try to move that needle, and we continue to do that. One area that has always been a problem, every school district around the state, is achievement gaps, all right? We keep pushing. You don't just focus on the top, the whole class, all the students. You've got to reach and close those gaps. So that's one of the areas that you would focus on that would ultimately rise, the tide would rise for everyone as long as we can bring them along with it. So I would focus on the achievement gaps that we have.
Okay. Thank you very much. Michelle?
Number 3.
Question number 3. What initiatives do you feel are important to make policy to help all students succeed, including students with differing abilities, English language learners, and Title I students?
So we have a lot of really great initiatives that are going on in our schools, and we have a lot of great teaching that goes on by team building, assessing our students on an individual basis based on their performance on their tests. That's regular classroom testing, not additional testing, not state testing, but just everyday classroom, what's going on. We are analyzing that data by a student-on-student case, clustering students together that maybe need something that's remediated, or something that maybe Ms. Merck taught better than what Wayne taught, and so they're going over and working with them while students are coming in to be covered for a couple of other options and areas. We have a lot of great things like that we're doing in our classrooms every single day. The initiatives and things that grow from that are just unbelievable. So we're already doing a lot of great things, but there's always room to get to the next level.
Connie?
4.
Question number 4. Working together is essential for the success of each student. How would you encourage partnerships among teachers, parents, and the community for the overall success of every student?
Well, since it's dealing with the parents, I have to say that, okay, so right now, IEPs and 504s are just exploding. We have so much. And a lot of the parents have self-educated themselves and been able to, I think if we take and communicate and have our teachers come in and be part of the process, our parents, part of the process, that would actually grow the teacher and the parent communication. Now, a teacher is vital, but I also think that we have students that are in the higher grade performance, that they can actually come in and be tutors for their classmates, because that would actually allow them to understand students that maybe not at their level, that's a little bit lower. They can actually help them and have a better understanding. So having the parents come in and actually be not just advocate, but actually help and assist.
Thank you very much. Kevin?
Number 1.
Question number 1. The Fort Mill School Board policy of education states that we will never be satisfied with the status quo. Although our students consistently perform at the top of our state, what can be done to improve student achievement and ensure everyone who graduates is career or college ready?
Yeah. Well, as I was saying before, I think, we're at a very high level now, and it certainly gets harder and harder to improve. And I think you have to innovate your way out of it. I think that the things that worked in the past to get us where we are aren't the things that are going to work to get us where we need to be. And so I think we need to try different innovative approaches and maybe reconsider how we teach, what we teach. We can test different approaches in different classrooms, and we can see what works best, and we can, if we've got a good idea that's an improvement, we can bring it out to the other classes. So, I think, again, we have to teach all of the core subjects, reading, writing, arithmetic, the physical sciences, and we have to prepare the students to be successful for their future careers, and we have to adapt to the needs of the child. But, things like logic, critical thinking, first principles, persuasion, time management, negotiation, conflict resolution, these are maybe the skills that are more relevant in a high technology future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Joe?
Here we go. Let's see. Number 4.
Question number 4. Working together is essential for the success of each student. How would you encourage partnerships among teachers, parents, and the community for the overall success of every student?
You have got to bring people together for one common goal. I absolutely love doing that. Yep. That is absolutely something I'm very passionate about, because we all have, there's something about finding common ground with everyone that really just gets rid of all that gaps and all that noise. And you can really work together to add value, because this thing is a body, right? I know it's a board, but it really works as a body. So if you can unify a body to work together in one motion, you're gonna be effective. This is about adding value to people at a very high level, to where they know they're set up for success. You have their best success in mind, and you're just going to push them forward in that. I absolutely love this. This is awesome. God bless y'all. If I don't get to talk to you again, this has been a great night. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you, Brandi.
4.
Number 4. All right, working together is essential for the success of each student. How would you encourage partnerships among teachers, parents, and the community for the overall success of every student?
When you were reading the question, I was thinking about a time when I was at Sugar Creek down here, and we would often have family nights where our teachers got to have their families and our students got to have their families, and it was usually world flags were everywhere, and everyone embraced a culture that was not their own. And I just thought that was such a great example on a smaller scale of what we can do overall. Accepting people, but not only accepting, celebrating people who are different, I think is crucial to the partnership. Because again, as I will say and continue to say, is that we all have a lot of common ground. And finding that partnership, that balance between we all have a seat at the table, I think is crucial. And so I always think back to that special time when we were all there celebrating each other, and I think that we can do that on a larger scale here in the Fort Mill School District, and I think we do a lot of ways. So I think we should continue to do that, even though it seems to be a little bit harder these days.
Thank you. Desiree, okay, yes, okay, so she has activated her 30-second response card, so you get 30 seconds to respond.
Okay, so just in case I don't get to answer this question, I just want to say that parents and teachers and administrators, we're already in a partnership. We already come together to do what is best for the students of this district. I think what we need is effective communication. We're an awesome district. There are some things that we need to improve on, but I think that there are communication barriers, and we absolutely need to work on those.
Thank you very much. All right, we will continue with your question.
So sorry. Number 2.
Question number 2. The profile of the South Carolina graduate includes technology proficiency as part of it. As I was going to say, exactly. I can't even spit it out. All right, proficiency, there you go, as part of world-class knowledge and skills. How would you support one-to-one technology integration to ensure equity to prepare our students for success in digital literacy skills?
Okay, can you read the question one more time?
Oh.
That was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot, and I promise you I did graduate. It was many moons ago. The profile of the South Carolina graduate includes technology proficiency as part of a world-class knowledge and skills. How would you support one-to-one technology integration to ensure equity to prepare our students for success in digital literacy skills?
Oh, wow. So, to support that, I think that it would be important to ensure that, or to advocate, because no one person can ensure anything, but to support that, I think that it would be important for me to advocate for technology-driven courses in the schools, and I know we have a lot of that, but to advocate for professional development so that our teachers can keep up, so that they can ensure that our students are keeping up.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, Rachel?
1.
Question number 1. The Fort Mill School Board's philosophy of education states that we will never be satisfied with the status quo. Although our students consistently perform at the top of our state, what can be done to improve student achievement and ensure everyone who graduates that they're career and college ready?
Thank you for the question. I think just in general, I think that I'm reluctant to say Fort Mill is number 1 because I feel like this is a continuous improvement. We can always do better. We can always be better. I'm a big advocate for trade school, so I feel like we could offer that, and we do offer the dual enrollment. I think things like that's great. So I'm really for the skilled tradesmen, and we need to, because I feel like we depend on these people, so that's it. Thank you.
All right, Eric? Okay, all right, hold on 1 second, Eric. Hold on 1 second. Wayne's activated his response card. You'll get 30 seconds, Wayne.
I'd like to tack on that, yes, we as a district have been adding vocational classes, and I believe that is very important because not everybody is destined for or should be going to college. That's not the best use of their time and their money. A lot of people cannot afford it, and we hear about that every day. But anyway, one of the things that I would like to see with the district is to ultimately be able to add a Kate Center. It's been difficult to do that with maintaining our facilities for current growth.
Thank you very much. All right, Eric?
I have number 3.
Question number 3. What initiatives do you feel are important to make policy to help all students succeed, including students with differing abilities, English language learners, and Title I students?
So student success really takes a Together We Excel approach. We need our teachers, we need our students, we need our parents, we need school administration, and we definitely need the school board to ensure that we're paving a way for our students. We have to make sure that we have development plans in place. We have to make sure we have student success plans in place because not every student wants to go to college. Some students may want to go to trade school. Some students want to go to military. And if you're like me, you want to go to a military college. But with that being said, we have to put plans in place to ensure that we're meeting their needs where they are. You have some people with needs and IEPs, 504s. Make sure that we have successful plans for them to develop also. So putting standards and policies in place to tackle every student where they are, not just having one box, because everyone can't fit in that box. We need a box that tailors to specific students at that time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Celia?
Number 2.
Okay, and question number 2. The profile of the South Carolina graduate includes technology proficiency as part of a world-class knowledge and skills. How would you support one-to-one technology integration to ensure equity to prepare our students for success in digital literacy skills?
So I've already approved the one-to-one technology on the middle school level. On the elementary level, we're still working with that because we certainly don't want our younger students with one-to-one technology all day long. And on a high school level, it's a little different. There's some classes that we have that don't need one-to-one, like wrestling or weightlifting. We also have specialized classes like digital art design that need special technology. But there are some other issues that don't make this question as easy as it sounds. First of all, how do you handle ELL students or Title I students who might not have hotspots at home? Now, our district did a fantastic job working with these students and getting hotspots and technology in those homes during COVID. But going forward, that's something we need to consider because not every student, if we go one-to-one, is going to need the hotspots at home. But luckily, I serve as a board member on the foundation of Fort Mill Schools. And they're focusing their teacher and classroom grants this year on providing middle school and high school technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Lippy.
3.
Question number 3. What initiatives do you feel are important to make policy to help all students succeed, including students with differing abilities, English language learners, and Title I students?
I think an initiative that would have a lot of promise for all kinds of students would be a community mentorship initiative so that all kinds of kids could see grown people who were like them that had moved forward in life and been successful, maybe in spite of or because of their challenges. I think it would be great for people to see someone like Brandi who faced a medical gauntlet and turned it around for good. I think it would be amazing for an English language learner to see an owner of a small business that started not speaking English but changed and grew and made something out of themselves. I think it would be amazing for people to see people with learning disabilities who have turned that into a strength instead of a weakness. Our community is just as amazing as our kids, and I think we have an untapped resource there.
Thank you very much. Okay, Celia has activated her response card. You get 30 seconds.
This is a fantastic school district, and I've got to say some of the most proud moments of my life is serving this district and being part of its leadership. And I would be remiss if everybody left today without hearing that the Fort Mill School District is the number 8 best employee in the state according to Forbes magazine. Or the Niche report says that we are in the top 2 school districts nationwide. Our ACT scores, SAT scores are outstanding compared to the nation. And I just ask for your vote.
Stop. Thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you very much, candidates. We certainly appreciate it. This time we'll ask Mandy DeMayo, our 2022 District Teacher of the Year, to come forward to close out our program.
Hi everyone, I'm Mandy DeMayo. I am the 2022-2023 District Teacher of the Year. Along with Miss Laura Merck and the Teacher Forum, would like to thank the candidates for their participation tonight in this forum this evening. Each candidate deserves a round of applause. We would also like to thank the audience here as well as those of you viewing this online. The students of Fort Mill need your vote. Please remember to vote on November 8th. Thank you again, everyone, and good night.